All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Lasting Learning Podcast. Today, you are in for an absolute treat. I know I'm in for an absolute treat because today I get to talk to somebody who I don't know all that well, but she inspires the crap out of me. Today, we have a woman who's going to join us on this podcast who lives just a few miles away from me. We on social media, it seems like we're always in the same place at the same time, but we have never actually seen each other in person.
Right.
Got a woman who her story is just, it's inspiring. It motivates me. It drives me. It pushes me. She's a beast. I'll just put it that way. You know, few people in this world push me and motivate me to keep doing more and being more and committing more. And Christina is one of those people. And again, never even met her. This is truly our first real conversation. And
For real.
I am so glad that you are here. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I am so excited. Can you just tell people who you are other than this beast that I just mentioned?
Well, my name's Christina. I'm a mom of 6 children. My youngest is 5. My oldest is 28. I just had my first 2 grandbabies were born in the same month, October. 2 different children, obviously. But I am a triathlete, a ultra runner. I work for I'm in health and nutrition. And I learned a few years ago that not to hide behind things that have happened to me, but that my test is my testimony. And that's what I do now. And sometimes it comes out in my ultra events. I really like to try to see how far my body can go and how far other people's bodies can go, because it's always further than you think it is. So someone also told me that when you think you're done, you're really only at 70% of what you can do. And that's with anything. That's with anything. In life, you know, obviously it comes out in sports for me, but pretty much when you think you're done, you just have a little bit more to give.
That's so good.
That's how I live my life.
Yeah. Wow. So just in your intro right there, I think you kind of sucked some people into the story. There are going to be some people that are going to fixate on the holy crap 6 kids piece.
Yeah.
Other people are listening to the ultra piece, and ultra just means big. They have no idea what that even means, because
I know.
there are some people that a walk around the block or a walk to go get their mail gets them tired.
Yeah.
But you got 6 kids that with was it 23 years between them? Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's fixate on that first. And then we're going to talk about the physical beast mode. 6 kids.
Yes.
Holy crap. And you still have energy to keep going. And
I know. No. But I got married at 17. My mom actually signed a paper for me to get married, which seems insane. And I actually think, why didn't she stop me from doing that? But she didn't. And I got married right out of high school, had my first baby at 18. So right away, I was a statistic, you know, and looking back on it, it probably started me on a journey that I didn't know was happening.
Yeah.
But I was married for 20 years, had 5 kids all in a row. So they're 19, 21, 23, 25, and 28 right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So, got divorced after 21 years, which people thought was insane. But we had a good, start, rocky, bad finish, which is probably what divorce does. But that really started me on my ultra journey. I had always been into fitness. I was a personal trainer. I taught group fitness classes. So I was always physical. But when I went through, my divorce took 2 years. And it was bad. It was really bad. Yeah. That's just the only thing. I mean, divorce is bad.
Yeah.
But it's not good for anybody. It was really hard on my kids. And so in the middle of all that, I decided to train for Ironman.
Okay. Why? Like, you just needed to
I just needed an outlet.
Hurt a little bit more?
And during that time, people would ask me, like, how are you getting up at 4 a.m. to get these rides in or whatever? But I needed it so badly. I didn't want to stay in bed. That's just not my personality to do that. So that's what I did, is I pounded pavement. I rode the bike long, and I taught myself to swim. I could not swim one stroke.
Wow.
And I did I did 3 full Ironmans in that course of my 2 years divorce.
And I'm gonna pause you real quick because you said Iron Man's. I was actually listening to another podcast the other day, and they actually
Mhm.
said Iron Man's is the
Yeah,
correct plural. So anybody that says, "Oh, she said Iron Man's not Iron Man," no, it's Iron Man's. Which
yeah,
well done. So you are a pro. You do know what you're talking about. We'll talk about Iron Man's in just a
yeah.
second because that's a whole nother level. Something I will never be able to do. So
Oh,
we'll talk about
never
that in
say
just a
never. Yeah,
second. Well, I will say never. I know my limits,
yeah,
unless maybe I don't know. We'll see. Um, so in the midst of going through this divorce, you decide to start training,
yeah,
and you just got to talk to me a little bit about that because you talk about
yeah,
wanting to push your body, but it almost sounds like you want to push your mind more than
yeah.
more than your body.
I think it started with that, my mind. I never listen to music. I never bring my phone. Like, it's my only time that I don't do those things. And so I just needed to think through my thoughts.
Hmm.
I a lot of times will say, like, my training is my church, and I really believe that. Like, I've learned
Wow.
so much about myself, about other people during my training, and so that's what started it. Really, is that I just needed an outlet. I needed time away from everything.
Wow.
But
There are
Ironman
some
is
people. There are some people listening that are going to say, "Well, why didn't you just go sit in your car?"
I know.
What was it about truly being out there? And let's define an Ironman for people real quick. Can
Yeah.
you tell
So
what an Ironman is?
yeah. So an Ironman is a 2.4 mile swim and 112 mile on the bike and a marathon. So 26.2.
But you get like a week off in between all those. So you go swim and then you get a week
No,
off and then you bike and then
no,
you get a week off and you go run a marathon, right?
no. All on the same day, under 17 hours, or it doesn't count.
So let's just pause. Let that resonate for people.
Yeah.
um, just a marathon. So you realize a marathon is 26.2 miles.
Right.
And that's just like the end of it all. You've
Right.
already ridden on a bike for more than 100 miles. You've already swam more than 2 miles. And now
Yeah.
you're going to go run 26.2.
Yeah.
And this is what you decide to do
I
as
know.
you're going through a divorce, just for
I
therapy.
know.
No, the race is one thing, but the
Yeah.
training for it is a whole nother
Training.
level.
Training is hard.
Yeah.
Training is hard. And it is a lot of mental. It's a lot of physical, but it's a lot of mental too, because you have to do it when you don't want to, or when you're really tired, or when your friends are inviting you out, to
Yeah.
do things, and you have to say no, because you have to. The only way to get the training in is you have to get up early. There's
Yeah.
no way around it. And I didn't know how to swim, so I got in the pool. I just committed to getting in the pool every single Tuesday and Thursday, and I never missed. I never missed.
Wow.
No, I don't know how I did that, because I hate to swim.
Now
You know,
where were these races held? Because we're
um,
here in Michigan, so
I know. So the first one I did was actually here in Michigan.
okay.
But it wasn't an Ironman branded event. It was the Ironman distance. It's
Okay.
called Michigan Titanium. It's in Grand Rapids, and so I did the Ironman distance,
Okay.
and then I went to Wisconsin,
Okay.
and then Florida.
Wow. Okay. That's
Yeah.
impressive. That's legit.
Mhm.
So you're doing all this. You're training religiously.
Yeah.
Did you ever? And I'm gonna feel free to push back on this if I'm going too far. But so you're going through this divorce. You said your kids were struggling through all this. You were struggling through all this. You're
Mhm.
waking up at 4 a.m. to just take time by yourself. Did
Yeah.
you ever feel like, well, I shouldn't be taking some time by myself right now. I need to be pouring into other people.
Um, yeah, yeah, I did feel like that. And a lot of people said to my face, I was being selfish, and
Oh wow.
that I shouldn't do it. And I just didn't listen. Honestly, like, it would get to me, but then I thought I was getting up so early. I was coming home, I would be back before anything really happened.
Sure.
My kids were all teenagers at the time too, so it wasn't like I was leaving them or getting sitters or things like that either. But yeah, it's something as a female athlete gets a lot of slack about how they're not
Mm-hmm.
doing the mom thing right, or the wife thing right. They're not doing all these other things. They're not giving to these other things, and it's not true.
Yeah.
They're giving so much,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and they're a
When
better mom because they're doing these things.
absolutely.
They really are.
Oh, that's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So this transpired 5-6 years ago. So it's okay. And now we fast forward and, I mean, I want to go back actually. This wasn't like a one and done thing. It wasn't, I'm going through a hard time in my life, so I'm going to do something just to provide myself some therapy.
Right.
You have continued to live this lifestyle. You continue to get up at 4 a.m. and run and do all the things all the time, unashamedly.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Well, after I got through the divorce and everything, I rebounded. So, because that was only 5 children.
Right.
So, it's true.
That's awesome.
So I
So
rebounded
real.
really. I know.
And that's why I love this podcast, because it's always so real.
Well, I didn't really know what a rebound was. Now I know. Like, I mean, you hear that term a lot, but that's what happened. I, chose somebody that was completely opposite. I mean, 100% opposite of my husband. He was an athlete, an Ironman triathlete. So I thought, here I go. Like, this is going to be amazing, right? And it wasn't. But, over the course of 3 years, we were together almost 3 years. I had my little guy who's 5 now, and we didn't get married. We were just together, and it was good for a little bit, but when it went bad, it was bad. I found out things that he's not the person that I thought he was.
Yeah.
In the sense that I'm a female, he likes males, like
Got it.
those kinds of things. So it just really threw me through a whole nother loop that I had already recovered from all this other stuff. And so then I have this person that I thought, everything was going good, and he's a completely different person than he's portraying to me. And so, so I again went back into training mode. But this time was different because I had Landon. He was small. When I was doing Ironman and stuff, my kids, I didn't really have to worry about my kids. They could drive themselves. They were older. Landon is small. He was at the time 18 months old, and so I knew that I could run at all hours of the day and night. Whenever my older kids could help or whatever. And so that's what I did. I started running a lot, and found myself, hitting 50K. Then I'd do a 50 miler because I survived the 50K, and then I decided to go after a 100 miler. And I really just was thinking about doing a 100 miler. And a friend of mine said, hey, do you want that? She's a race director. And she said, hey, she really wants to empower female athletes and female ultra runners. And she said, I'll give you an entry to my 100-mile race if you want to run it. And I said no. And then I did a quick Google on this race, and I called her back and I said, I will do that race.
Wow.
And so that's what I did last year. So last year I did my first 100 miler.
Are people comprehending what you just said? That, I just wanted to go 50K and I did 50 kilometers. And then I just wanted to do a 50 miler. So I did. I just did a quick Google search on 100 milers. So I did. I mean, it's just, you just talk about it like it's what everybody does. No, they don't.
I know. But I don't know. I just think that you really can do what you want to do, or you put it in your head. Once you put it in your head, I really think you just have to then line yourself up with people who do it too.
Yeah.
And I really believe that, like, you just need to surround yourself with people who believe in you, and cut everybody else out. Honestly.
So I'm going to just pause on that, because that is some truth right there. Find some people that will make you better. And then anybody else, you don't have time for them, because that's truly your goal, right? It's just to continue to grow you. Yes. I think it's powerful what you're talking about right now, because I would say probably the last 5 or 6 years have probably been some of the hardest times of your adult life, I would guess. Yeah. And there are so many people that go through hard times, myself included, who feel like when you're going through those hard times, you just want to mope. You just want to climb into a hole. You don't ever want to get out of bed, whatever the case may be. You want to just throw in the towel. Yeah. But it seems like when things get hard, you go harder.
Yeah.
Is that always been innate in you, or is that something you have to
Um,
grow into as well?
I mean, I've probably always had it a little bit because, I didn't have a great childhood, but I survived that. You know what I mean? Like I have these things that led up to things. So I probably always had that. I just refuse to be a number right now. Like that's my thing right now.
Mm.
I just not because I got married young, because I got divorced, because I had
Mhm.
this other relationship and another baby. Like that's just my story. That's just how it worked out. That doesn't have to define me. I
Wow.
can change that. So that's what I do. And I want people around me to do that too. Like that's just a hump. And I tell my kids that all the time too. This is just, you don't have to go around saying my parents are divorced. That's just part of it. That's just part of it. You're gonna come out better, you know. And it's taken them a long time to figure that out, that, we didn't ruin them. They're still good kids. They have their own lives ahead of them, you
Yeah.
know. It's just we're just not together. It's okay.
Wow, that's powerful. So 2019,
Hmm.
um, when we're recording this right now, it's the
Hmm.
end of 2019. Has this been a good year for you?
Very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I started a new job and something that really just the universe was just really in line for me this year. Honestly, I mean, I had to really work hard for it. I did have to cut some people out of my life that weren't really my friends. I mean, I had to cut some family out that I'm kind of getting some shit from right now. But I just think sometimes those people can't be around you. Um, and um, but yeah, I actually sent some stuff out to the universe. It's going to sound crazy, but I actually said some things out loud, and then they manifested. And it's just crazy how that happens. And when it happens to you, you'll be a firm believer, but other people hearing it don't think it really happens, But my job that I have right now, it's something that I work for Rebecca's, which is a health food store or health and nutrition. I was really intrigued by Rebecca as a person. I followed her on social media. She heals people naturally from cancer diagnosis, over 1,000 people. Um, she's healed herself from Lyme's disease. Like I knew these things. She's got a fabulous reputation, and her personality is just you're drawn to her. So I was really intrigued by her. I knew she was hiring. They were opening a new store. I really felt like if I could put myself in front of her, I would have this job. And I, they kept looking at my resume and not calling me. And so I saw the job posted again. And so I sent her a message directly and I said, look, I don't know, but I'm feeling like we could make a good team, all of this. And she hired me on the spot when I got in front of her.
Is there anything in this world that you are just not bold to do or try?
Um, I mean,
What scares you? Anything?
um, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's sharks.
Says the triathlete who swims off the beaches of Florida. Yeah,
I know,
just
I
got to
know.
swim faster than them, right?
No, I mean, I think I just have to, there are things that scare me, and I usually, I talk about that a lot, is that, do the things that scare you.
Yeah,
Um, it's, in my 20s, I would not have done scary things. In my 40s, I'm doing all the scary things
right.
because I feel like that's just who I am now. That I was probably meant to be this way, in my 20s, but I didn't have people around me saying, go do that, you know.
So are these
When
things still scary to you? You're just doing them anyway, or is the fear subsided?
Yeah, no, it's still scary to me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Not as scary. I think when you start doing the scary things and you don't die, you start thinking, okay,
So that is your new barometer for success. I didn't die.
you did. I mean,
That's awesome.
no, yeah.
And this is why I admire you. That's incredible. That's incredible because I get to that place sometimes where I think, well, if I do this, how am I going to look to other people? If
Yeah.
I do this, it might hurt a little bit. And you're
Yeah.
saying, "No, just go big. You'll still be alive. Just
Yeah.
keep going."
Yes.
Wow,
I know.
that's incredible. That's
I
absolutely
know.
incredible.
And if you would ask my friends, they would tell you, because Um, I believe when you said not an Ironman for me, I would say yet, because there was a point that someone said that to me. I would say I love Ironman. I do. I love the sport of Ironman, and I loved it back before I did it too. But I couldn't wrap my head around the swim.
Yeah.
I
That's
just,
exactly me. That's
yeah,
exactly me.
it's like, and someone said to me, you can't wrap your head around it yet. And that's what happened. I just all of a sudden was like, okay, I've biked 100 miles. I've done marathons. I need to wrap my head around this getting in the water stuff because I
And was
can't
was
do
it as
that on
scary
the
as you
bike.
thought it was going to be?
Oh yeah.
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 And yet you
Yeah.
came back and did it more and more.
Yeah, because you know what I say now? I love the bike and I love the run. Like I love it. So I swim, so I get to get on the bike and I
Mm.
get to run. And so that's what I have to keep telling myself while I'm lined up waiting. And anybody that's been at the swim of an Ironman, it's silent. You have 3,000 people and it's silent.
Wow.
Like nobody, it's scary for everybody. Everybody has the same thing going on in their head.
So I'm just curious about this now for those people that might be curious. So
Yeah.
when you're in the water, 3,000 people
Yeah.
kicking and punching and slapping all over the place, not let alone
Yeah.
sharks. I mean, you're not even thinking
Yeah.
about sharks at that point. You're thinking about getting
No.
kicked in the head, right?
Yes.
What
Yeah.
is your strategy? Do you just hide in the back? Do you go way out wide, or you just say, I'm going for it?
Um, I've done it always, but I found, starting at the middle of the pack, you don't get around people who are panicking because that'll make
Okay.
you panic. But that's probably my best scenario is in the middle, and then
Okay.
a little out wide.
Okay. When you run these races, when you're biking and running, do you
Yeah.
do you have goals in mind, or is your goal always just don't die, or do you say no, I'm
Um,
gonna
no,
actually
I
finish this?
usually have goals for the bike and the run. Yeah.
Okay.
The swim is just get out of the water in the time, the
Yeah.
time limit, and don't exert a ton of energy, more than you need to, basically.
Yeah. So
But you always have a goal on the bike and the run. Yeah.
in life in general right now, what is your goal?
Um, so funny. Um, Life in general, I just want to be happy.
Mhm.
I really just want to wake up every day and I I I hate to wait you because when I post things or when I don't really sometimes I'm doing it for myself, like I want
Yeah,
to inspire
absolutely.
myself.
You're affirming it for yourself. You're saying it out
Yeah.
loud. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I do want to inspire other people to, do hard things too. But like you were saying, hard things for them might be a 5K or, a
Right.
walk around the block or making good choices nutritionally. I mean, I get that. I get it. That's, what I do isn't for everybody. I get it. I do get it. And people tell me that I'm intense a lot and I don't see it either. I don't see that I'm intense because it's just who I am.
I'd say you're
And
focused.
yes, I'm focused. Yeah. But I really want to meet someone nice, which I have recently. Another one of my things that I set out to the universe, and I want to share my life with
Mm.
someone. And my kids, I want them to be happy, productive adults.
Yeah.
Those are the things I, work on every day.
Well, I think that's powerful because the athlete that you are, you tend to do a lot of solo races, but
Hmm.
it seems to me that you don't really do these things solo. You talk
Yeah.
about finding people that partner with you and push
Yeah.
you and motivate you. You do a lot of group runs. When you're
Hmm.
standing at the starting line, you're focused on 3,000 other people, and now your goals for life are to have this
Yeah.
person next to you.
Yeah.
I, do you feel like sometimes pushing yourself as a person is more attractive to other people? Like you're making yourself better for others, or are you making yourself better for you, and it's like a magnet?
I think it's a magnet.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't start out like that, I don't think. I think you have to, put yourself out there like that. But we've started some group stuff out of Fenton. So I'm a part of like it's called Greater Flint Athletic Club,
Yeah.
but it's out of Fenton. And we have some great, great things. I've watched people do their first half Ironman. That when they showed up to a group run 3 years ago, had never done a half marathon. They had never
Yeah.
done one. Now they did. They've done one or more half Ironmans. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it's like, yeah, it makes a big difference surrounding yourself and then letting yourself be that magnet.
Yeah. Surround
Yeah,
yourself with people that make you better. You'll grow, and
yeah,
then you'll grow them. It's like this symbiotic thing.
it
You're
is.
not just a sponge pulling from them, but you're making them
No,
better while they make you better. And
yeah,
that's
and you
good.
don't even realize it's happening.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
good.
something you really have to put a lot of thought into. You just have to show up.
That's good. Oh, that's so good. So what's next for you? What does 2020 have in store for you?
Oh my goodness. I always say this every year that I'm going to retire, and then I'm like,
Yeah, right.
but then like I get an invite to something, or
Like a 100-miler. Yeah, I'll do it.
yeah. Well, there's probably not a lot of people that know what the Barkley marathons is, but it's a documentary on Netflix if anybody wants to watch it. It's completely insane. I mean, it legit is insane. But 2 years ago, I got an invite it's called the Barkley Fall Classic. And basically, you go to the mountains of Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
and they hand you a map and a compass, and away you go. They consider it a 50K, but nobody really knows what the distance is. So I did that race with no, I mean, I was trained, but not really, because you don't know what to train for. They change the course every year, all of this.
And this is the one where last year nobody even finished, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this year I got into the Fall Classic for 2020 as soon as it opened, because I'd
Wow.
been on the waiting list and all that. So my year is going to be focused getting to Barkley.
Wow. How do
Yeah.
you even train for that? If you don't know the course, is it you just run trails? You just run through the mud and the muck and in the
But
dark?
what ruined me, I mean, obviously I didn't die. So, but I mean, my legs were destroyed when I was there. I've never had that before. And, was like a lot of the climbing, obviously. And then the downhill really, hurt me. They tell you to run the runnable parts. I didn't do that, cause you're so tired and you're just so hot and all of this. So I'm really going to train to run the runnable parts, train the downhill. So that's what starting in January, I'm doing my first 50K January 4th. Well, not my first one for 2020. And yeah, I've got some crazy training ideas planned, like marathons back to back, one on a Saturday, one on a Sunday. Just things like that. Get all for Barkley.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So to clarify again, you're gonna
Yeah.
go run a 32-mile or 50K. You're gonna run back-to-back marathons as
Yes.
part of training for another race.
I know.
My God. See, I sit back and I brag about the stuff that I do. Think, wow, I do hard things, and now I feel so small right now. I mean, that is insane, insane.
I know.
What?
And
What? So
I
what is
work.
the allure? To,
What?
what is the
So,
allure? Why do the hard things?
because I think, I don't know. Why would you want to do easy things?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I mean, my very first marathon I ever did was in 2006, because people ask me this a lot. I really had I was a personal trainer. I ran with clients, but we'd run like a 5K here and there. We'd run bleachers. I was fit. I looked really fit. I mean, I was 20, but, but, this girl started this run group, and it was really nice to have someone else say, let's run 5 miles today. You know what I mean? So she was telling me what to do, and I thought this was the best. And so I joined this run group, and they were training for country music half marathon. Okay. I knew nothing about training for half marathons. So I followed what she said to do. And what we did in training was we ran 13 miles.
Well,
So now I know you don't really do that in half
yeah.
marathon training. Like, if you run 10 miles, you're going to be fine. You could run 8 miles and be fine in a half marathon, but I didn't know that at the time. So I sign up I go to the expo, and I lived in Tennessee at the time too. So it's country music. And I go to the expo, and I'm thinking the whole time, like, I've already run 13 miles. This is like a piece of cake. And there was a sign that said, if you want to switch to the full marathon, come over here. Yeah. And so I did.
Wow.
And I remember my friend I remember saying to her, I'm switching to the marathon. I've run 13 miles. Like, I don't know that I know I can run 13. I don't know I can run 26. I remember saying that to her. And she should have said, why don't you just run for a time or something? That's what she should have said to me. But what she said was, how long do you think it's going to take? And I was like, I don't know, 4 hours.
Oh my gosh.
I laugh about this now. I laugh about it now. And she said to me back, So you think, she's a seasoned athlete, seasoned marathoner. She said back to me, so you think you're going to run the same pace that I'm going to run? And I went, yeah. And she never laughed at me. She never anything. And it took me 5 hours and 10 minutes. So still not a terrible, but it was so, so painful, like painful. I was
Yeah.
hurting. I was crying because it hurt so bad, honestly. And so I finished, and back then you could sign up for Chicago. So country music was in April. I decided to train for Chicago Marathon.
Which is in
And
October. Yeah.
in October.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I only finished 5 minutes faster.
Even with all the training.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't let that. I hear a lot of people say, like, I don't have time for this or that or whatever. Sometimes the end result would be the same, whether you did it, whether you trained or not.
Mm,
That's what I got out of that. And, I don't say don't do the training for a marathon. I think you should.
sure.
But I think sometimes we don't jump into other things like meeting new people or going after a job or having babies or whatever. Like we're looking for this magic answer
Mm.
or this magic time, and it's just not going to happen. Like, just if you feel like it's what you're supposed to do, I think you should just do it.
Holy cow. That,
I know.
that, that
I
is
know.
so
I'm intense.
good.
I am intense.
No, that's so good though. That is so good. I can't tell you how many times I've been called out for dragging my feet and just coming up with
Yeah.
excuse after excuse after excuse for not
Yeah.
doing the hard thing because I'm looking for that perfect opportunity, that perfect time. And
Yeah.
it's never come. It's still not here.
No.
That's so
Yeah.
good. And
Yeah.
so I'm going to release this right around New Year's for people, because I think for some people, they think when I turn the calendar and it's a brand new year, that's the perfect time.
Yeah.
And the perfect time lasts for 3 weeks, and then, oh, it's not perfect
Mhm.
anymore. Life is getting in the way and things are just hard again. And
Right.
I can't commit to whatever it was that they committed to.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and there's nothing magical about a date. There's nothing magical
No,
about time. It's all in your head. Just
for
keep
sure.
doing the thing, whatever the thing is, just keep doing
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
Oh, that's good.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's good. Now
Yeah.
you might have already said it. So I'm going to pause right here, but maybe not. I told you before we got on here that I always ask people for that mic drop,
Oh, yeah.
drop moment, that opportunity where people are listening to this podcast, and I want them to be able to focus in on your wisdom.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be real. Like the microphone has been plopped over and over and over again. And people listening to this might be pausing it and rewinding it, pausing it and rewinding it, because there's been so much truth here. But maybe there's more. I don't know.
Mhm.
Do you have another moment where we've got 7 billion people listening right now and you
Oh.
say, here's the truth that people just need to hear?
I think that, um, well, two things: that I want to empower females, not that males
No,
aren't
I got you.
empowered, but I really want to empower females, especially older females that think it's too late to do this or do that, or give up on a hobby or a career, or write that book that they've been wanting to do, things like that. I want to empower them to do whatever it is, that it's not too late.
Mm,
And I also think that I also want to empower moms to that it's not selfish to take a little time for themselves.
yes.
I choose, and I have a lot of friends that choose it to do it, in fitness, but I think whatever it is that you're into, whatever it is that you're into that kind of puts a little spark or your soul on fire. I talk about that a lot. Like, if it excites you, you should do that. I think your kids are going to learn from that. We're going to raise better females. And we're going to have boys that can support their wives if we
Mm,
do that as parents right now. I really want my boys to I really spend a lot of time on this because I want them to be good husbands. I really do.
wow.
So I want them to see me doing things for myself, and that they can help me, um, kind of make my goals a reality, that they can do the same thing for their wives. I think that means that I've done my job.
Wow. That is really good. And as a non-female sitting here listening to this, it's inspiring to me. It really is. It drops that gauntlet, and it's a great challenge to be that support, to help all people do the
Yeah.
hard things, to help So as a father of 4, I've got 3 boys. My job is to raise them so that they can grow up and be good husbands, not just good men, but good husbands. That's
Yes.
good. That's
Yeah.
really good.
I think it's important.
Oh, wow. Christina, thank you so much. That's good stuff. It really is. This is one of my favorite recordings I've done. So this is
thank you.
this is amazing. I really, really, really appreciate you being here today. This is outstanding.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So yeah, thank you so much for taking time. Thank you for inspiring so many of us. I'm hoping that in 2020, people are all going to go out there and do the hard things. I'm going to tag your social media to this, whether people are watching it on YouTube or they're listening to the podcast. And I'm hoping that people will just tag you, notify you when they go out there and do some hard things this year.
Yeah.
Whether it's running that first 5K, whether it's going up and talking to that person that they've been intimidated by, getting that job they've wanted, applying to that school, whatever the thing is, go do the hard thing. Make 2020 that year of vision, that year of focus, that year where the hard things come easy to you. So that's awesome. And I have a feeling you're going to be the catalyst for a lot of that.
Oh, I hope so.
So let's do it. All right, everybody. Thanks for another amazing, amazing week. And Christina, thank you.